Alright, I know you're thinking about scrolling, but give me a minute. You're about to learn something that could seriously change the way you see every relationship, every conversation, maybe even your entire life. And trust me, by the end of this, you'll never look at emotional control the same way again. Welcome to where we dig into the mind games that most people never see coming. So, what is emotional control? Let's keep it simple. It's when someone messes with your feelings to get you to do what want. It's subtle, it's sneaky, and before you know it, they're calling the shots in your life, and you don't even realize it. Stick around, because I'm going to show you how to spot it, stop it, and take back control. Oh, and at the end, I've got something for you that'll blow your mind. Let's dive in. This isn't just some theory, I've lived it. I've been manipulated, and I've done my fair share of manipulating too. Let me start with how I got played. A while back, I was in a relationship, and my ex was a pro at emotional control. Every time I made plans with my friends, she'd hit me with the classic guilt trip. Oh, it's fine, you go have fun. I'll just stay here, alone, like always. And boom, just like that, the guilt kicked in. I'd feel like I was abandoning her, like I was selfish for even about going out. I'd cancel my plans, sit at home, and feel like the worst person in the world, even though I hadn't done anything wrong. But here's the thing, I thought I was making my own choice. It took me to realize I was being played. And when I did, I was furious. Not just at her, but at myself. How could I not see it? How could I let someone else control my decisions like that? Now flip the script. I've been the manipulator too. Back in college, I had this professor who was a stickler for deadlines. One day, I waltzed into his office with a sob story about being overwhelmed. None of it true. I played on his empathy and boom, he gave me an extension on my paper. I walked out feeling like a genius. But in reality, I was using emotional control. I twisted his feelings to get what wanted. I didn't realize it at the time, but that's exactly what I was doing. Let's get into the nitty-gritty. Emotional control comes in different flavors, and chances are, you've encountered one or two of these. 1. Guilt. This is the, I guess I'll just suffer without you play. It makes you feel like the bad guy. And before you know it, you're doing whatever they want just to avoid feeling guilty. 2. Fear. Politicians and media love this one. They scare you into doing something by making you believe that if you don't act now, something terrible will happen. Fear shuts down your rational mind and hits you where it hurts, your survival instinct. 3. Love bombing. At first it feels like heaven. You're showered with affection, attention, and praise, and it's addicting. But once you're hooked, they take it away, and you're left scrambling to get that feeling back. 4. Shame. When someone says, you should be better than this, or, I can't believe you did that, they're using shame to control you. You feel like you're not good enough, so you bend over backward to prove you are. 5. Empathy. This one's tricky. When someone constantly makes you feel sorry for them, they're using your empathy against you. You end up doing things for them just to ease their suffering, even if it costs you. Now here's the thing. Emotional control isn't just about making you do something you didn't want to do. It's way more dangerous than that. Emotional control doesn't just twist your choices, it messes with. When someone's constantly pushing your emotional buttons, it chips away at your independence. You start doubting yourself. You start wondering if maybe the selfish one. Every time they make you feel guilty, ashamed, or scared, they're stealing a little piece of your confidence. And over time, you stop trusting yourself. Here's why that's so dangerous. When you stop trusting your own instincts, you start living for. You're no longer making decisions based on what want or need. You're living in reaction to their emotions, their approval, their happiness. And before you know it, you're not living life anymore, you're living. Every time you change your plans, give up something important to you, or bite your tongue just to avoid conflict, you're losing a little bit of yourself. Emotional control is like erosion. It wears you down slowly until there's nothing left. Let's get practical. How do you know if someone's using emotional control on you? Here's a quick checklist. Do you feel guilty every time you say no? Do you change your plans or opinions just to avoid upsetting them? Do they use phrases like, you always or you never to make you feel like you're the problem? Are you scared of how they'll react if you don't do what they want? Do you focus more on managing their emotions than your own? If you're nodding along to any of these, you're probably being emotionally controlled, but now that you see it, you can stop it. Alright, now let's talk recovery. How do you take back control of your emotions in your life? Here's a simple step-by-step approach. 1. Say it straight. If someone's making you feel guilty or ashamed, call it out. Say, I don't like being made to feel bad for my choices. It'll feel awkward, but trust me, it works. 2. Stand your ground. When they push back, and they will, don't apologize, don't explain. Just repeat yourself calmly. Stick to your boundaries, even when it feels uncomfortable. 3. Take a break. Sometimes you need space. If someone keeps trying to control you, distance yourself. When you're too close, it's hard to see clearly. Space helps you rebuild your confidence and get perspective. Reclaiming your power is about making decisions based on what you want, not what someone else needs you to do. It's your life. Live it on your own terms. Now remember that prize I mentioned at the start? Yeah, we're almost there. But first, let me ask you, how many times have you let someone twist your emotions without even realizing it? What would you do differently if you could spot it before it happened? Stick around. Your prize is coming and it's going to change everything. Let's flip it for a second. What if you're starting to realize that might be the one controlling others? If that's the case, here's what you need to do. 1. Own it. Admit that you've been using guilt, shame, or fear to control someone. It's hard, but it's the first step. 2. Apologize. And not the fake sorry you feel that way kind. A real apology sounds like, I see what I did and I'm sorry for manipulating you. I'll do better. 3. Change your behavior. Apologies are meaningless if you don't change. Next time you're about to use someone's emotions against them, stop. Ask yourself, am I doing this for or for? Alright, here it is. I've been using emotional control on this whole time. Yep, I hooked you with curiosity, told you personal stories to keep you engaged, and kept promising a prize to make sure you didn't scroll away. And guess what? It worked. But here's your real prize. Now that you know how emotional control works, you can spot it. You can stop it. You won't get played again. You're in control now. Oh, and before you go, hit that subscribe button. Trust me, we're just getting started.